the president met with certain persons that do not normally meet on a good day.
He choked. The president yesterday met Governor Similaye Fubara, the FCT Minister Nyesom Wike, Speaker of the Rivers House of Assembly, Martin Zamawali, and members of the Rivers Assembly. At the meeting, the president reconciled the parties whose dispute led to the declaration of a state of emergency in the state on the 18th of March. The meeting also marks the first time Fubara will be seen meeting with the president, who suspended him with his deputy, Ngozi Odu, the Rivers Assembly, while declaring the state of emergency.
Well, 3 months plus since Fubara was suspended, we're not forgetting his deputy and, of course, the State House of Assembly. That pronouncement was actually made by the president on March 18th.
That's right.
So if you're good with your maths, it's well over 3 months. But I just wish that the people involved, the main actors, would sit back and tell themselves the truth. What did they achieve with all the drama, the fighting, the wranglings in Rivers State? Practically nothing. Because at the end of the day, the people who elected these people are not better off. They are worse off. Monies that Rivers people ought to earn went to some other people. If you take a look at how much the sole administrator has earned within these 3 months, you find out that if that money had gone to a Rivers indigene, believe me, that person would have built a good mansion, live a good life, and touch lives of people around him. Same thing if you talk about the appointees. But in politics, politically speaking, Wike would say he got the better part of the deal, that he is the winner, because Fubara at the end of the day did not succeed in ousting him as his godfather. If you also take a look at most of the pronouncements the sole administrator has made, you find out that most of them are leaning towards what Wike would want to happen in Rivers State.
Absolutely.
Let's also not forget the appointments as well. You saw what transpired with the Ahoda local government chairman, who was beaten and asked to sign his resignation letter because some people felt he was treating Wike's faction better than the Fubara's loyalists. So, but for me, the bottom line, the lesson in this is, when people fight politically, they should ask themselves, where is the place of the people in what we are doing? If the interest of the people is not captured, then it is not worth it. I'll say it here today, tomorrow, and even months later. The fight between Nyesom Wike and Sim Fubara was unnecessary. It was all about ego. Fubara felt, he becoming the governor, that Nyesom Wike should not dictate how he governs. He shouldn't tell him who should get what or who shouldn't get what. That was how the whole thing started before it escalated to almost an impeachment. You could imagine a sitting governor bringing down the State House of Assembly just because of misunderstanding between two persons. At the end of the day, more money will be spent to erect that State House of Assembly complex. So I just want to believe they've learnt their lessons, and the smiles we saw yesterday will be genuine smiles, not just smiles because the cameras were on. You know how politicians behave. After the camera smiles, there is usually inner caucus meeting.
I know that some persons may have whispered to Fubara to say, one day, it's just 2 years to go. Whatever they ask you to do, do it. Just manage so that you will finish your tenure successfully. Because if you look at his body language yesterday, you can tell the man is like, he's tired of fighting. Right. And just like you mentioned, needless. Wastes. Time, resources, energy, emotions. How do you go to war without being fully equipped? You went to war with 32 House of Assembly. You had only 4 loyalists. I don't want to use harsh words on him. I don't understand. Before you go to that kind of war, you must have all the assembly members in your pocket first of all. If you don't have 32, at least quorum. At least the
Half
majority.
of, let's even say half.
You had only 4 and you're going to war. Who is advising you? Well, he has learned his lesson, and not just him. I think other upcoming governors too. If you want to fight your godfather, Jikere, it's not something you just wake up and say, I want to fight, or people are pushing you from behind. You must have all it takes. Everything you need to fight the person must be in place.
Do your homework properly.
Chineke.
You cannot be a governor who is surrounded by loyalists to your godfather. Bulk of your members of your executive council were appointed by the godfather. If you take a look at other appointments in River States, they practically owe their loyalty to your godfather, and you did not take your time to lure these people, to win them to your side. You went into a fight. Well, I just hope that genuine forgiveness has taken place, because what I foresee is a situation where Fubara will be a lame duck. If you take a look at all the appointments as we speak, yesterday we talked about the River State Independent Electoral Commission, RCEC. So all these appointments, for me, the man has been caged, even if he's sworn in today. I'm sure yesterday during the meeting, one of the talking points would be, Oga, all these appointments the sole administrator made, you will not touch them until you're done with your first term.
Joy.
And you're sounding like the man is not interested in second term. Make him come up for this one first.
Exactly.
Okay.
Make him come up for this one first, though.